This is Mrs. Winnett's Math Class, Chapter 11, Lesson 9, Apply Volume Formulas, using the formula volume equals length times width times height. Today's learning target: by the end of the lesson, you should confidently be able to say, I can use a formula to find the volume of a rectangular prism. We will use the following videos to help us learn this lesson. Deborah Young, Apply Volume Formulas. Pay attention, there will be questions during the lesson.
In the last few lessons, we've been finding volume by using our unit cubes. And we've been putting them together to create rectangular prisms to find the volume of a rectangular prism. And we've been noticing that when we do length times width times height, you find the volume. Length times width times height is our formula, L times W times H. Well, as you can see here, both prisms show the same dimensions and they have the same volume. You just don't see it in unit cube form. So we would still have 4 times 4, which is 16, and then you would multiply it by your height, which is 3. So another way to do this is to find the base. Now do you see this B right here? That stands for base. Okay? Now think about this. 4 times 4 is 16 cubic inches. Now, if you look over here, this 4 times 4 creates my base. The base is what your rectangular prism is on. We can consider it like a bottom layer because it's the base. So, if you look at this whole rectangular prism, without showing the cubes, you can still find the volume using the formula. But we can not only just do length times width times height, you can find your base, which is your length times width, which would be 4 times 4. And then you can multiply that by your height, which in this case is 3. So I can mentally find the base by multiplying my length times width, which is 4 times 4 to be 16. So I'm going to write 16 right here because that's my base. 16 times 3 will now be how I will find my volume. 16 times 3, when you work that out, is going to be 48. So we will have 48 cubic inches for our volume. So look at number 2. As you can see, our volume formula is length times width times height. So I want you to pause the video and I want you to find the volume of this rectangular prism, and then we'll check it together. Go ahead and press pause now. Okay, for this one you should have found the base, which would be your length times width, which would be 2 times 2, and I know that's going to be 4, and I'm going to multiply that by 5, which is going to be my height. 4 times 5, you should have said, is 20. Now this is measured in cubic inches. So our volume is 20 cubic inches.
Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 1 right now.
Okay, for number 3, I want you to go ahead and find the volume by following the formula of length times width times height. Now remember, when you multiply your length times width, that's finding your base, and then you'll multiply that by your height. Go ahead and press pause now. Okay, for this one you should have plugged in 5 for your length, 5 for your width, and 5 for your height. And then, when you found your base, which is your length times width, you should have 25 cubic centimeters. Now you should multiply that by 5 centimeters because, as you can see, it's 5 centimeters high. It's like you have 5 layers of your little cubes. So we're going to have 25 times 5. You should have 125. And remember, we're measuring these in cubic centimeters.
Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 2 right now.
If you are feeling like the expert, go ahead and press pause and solve this one on your own. If you're not and you want the guided practice, continue listening. Alright, boys and girls, you should have done length times width times height for your formula. And we want to find the base first, which will be my length times my width. And as you can see, 12 times 3 is what I need to write down for my length and my width. And then, of course, our height shows 5 feet. So I'm going to go ahead and write times 5. Now to solve for my base, which is 12 times 3, I know that to be 36. And I'm going to multiply that by my height of 5. Again, I'm going to use the distributive property. I'm going to break apart my 36 to be a 30 and a 6. And I'm going to multiply both of those by 5. So it'll be 5 times 30 as well as 5 times 6. And now I can find my two partial products. 5 times 30 is 150. And 5 times 6 is 30. So my final product is going to be 180. And remember, we're measuring in feet, so it'll be cubic feet. I hope both of our answers matched.
Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 3 right now.
Let's go ahead and switch down to number 7, which is our real-world problem solving. It says a construction company is digging a hole for a swimming pool. The hole will be 12 yards long, 7 yards wide, and 3 yards deep. How many cubic yards of dirt will the company need to remove? So what I know is this. I know I'm trying to find the volume of how the size of the hole is going to be. I know it's going to be 12 yards long, so that'll be my length. I know it's going to be 7 yards wide, so that will be my width. And I know it's going to be 3 yards deep, so I know that's going to be my height. So, following the formula for volume, I would know how many cubic. Now, cubic right here tells me I want to measure it in cubic yards. That tells me I'm looking for the volume. We want to know how much they'll need to remove to make that hole. So, we know our equation is going to be 12 times 7 times 3, because that is my length times width times height. Go ahead and press pause and solve this answer on your own, and then we'll check it together. Press pause now. Okay, when I went ahead and set this up, I decided to group together for my base 12 times 7, and then I'll multiply that by the height. Well, I know 12 times 7 is 84. Now I can take 84 and multiply it by 3. So 84 times 3 is 252 cubic yards. So that's how much dirt they would have to scoop out to create that swimming pool.
Please stop the video and complete worksheet number 4 right now. One more time, now let's review with the volume song by Number Rock.
Side will tell you the number of times a cubic unit will be able to fit inside it. Imagine a cube with edges of 3. Multiply 3 by 3 by 3 to see. It can fit 27 units. Gotta mention that they're cubic. When finding volume, don't forget to mention the unit is a cube with 3 dimensions. To get a rectangular prism's volume right, length times width times the height. Cubic units label 3 dimensions when we answer any volume questions. With the dimensions 2, 3, and 6. First find the base, that's length times width. The base is 6 cubes, then multiply the height. 36 cubic units, fill it up just right. When finding volume, don't forget to mention the unit is a cube with 3 dimensions.
A solid shape made of more than one prism has a volume you can find. With this wisdom, think of each shape separately and find the volume of each individually. Then add the volumes, 9 and 1, we get 10 cubic units and this problem's done.
When finding volume, don't forget to mention the unit is a cube with
3 dimensions.
when
And hopefully by now you can confidently say, I can use a formula to find the volume of a rectangular prism. And we know that formula is volume, or V, equals length, which is L, times width, which is W, times height, which is H. As always, we will be working on this more in class. If you have any questions or concerns, please see a teacher. Good luck with this lesson.